Hello and welcome everyone for a new session on our channel trying to build a Visual Studio extension that hides secrets in YAML files. This is specifically good for presenters and streamers who usually demonstrate things that they might show YAML files like Kubernetes stuff and deployments stuff. Normally you wouldn't want to put your secrets in a YAML file, but for simple demos that you might just want to put a token, for example, it might be a good idea to just hide that token throughout the presentation. So we have been building this extension for a while now. I think this is number 5 or 6 session. I'm not 100% sure. And we are very close in closing this project. If I demonstrate something for you, I can start the coding. So if we look here, I'm going to run this extension by enabling debugging, and trying to open a new Visual Studio Code extension. Sorry, a new Visual Studio Code. Let's open a YAML file. We have been selecting the Kaboom Scala deployment. YAML file, my friend. And once the extension is activated, it will hide the secrets. Now, normally it shouldn't take that long. Hopefully, it's going to be much faster, and the presenter should be aware of this. So if I invoke the hide command, I probably will have to remove the hyphens, because it seems that it's not a common thing to have hyphens in your command. So if we invoke the hide my secrets, you'll see that it's going to disappear. If you invoke it again, it's going to come back again. All right. Now, the last step that we're looking at, let's open our to-do list. We have make the decoration themable, because currently, just like I showed you a minute ago, hiding the secret is just a hard-coded decoration of background red, and it will need some nice love to give, so that it changes based on the developers or the users' current theme. Or if they want to configure it, they can change the colors themselves. This is one. We want to execute the reassessment of the decoration while the file is being changed. So if the user adds a new token in the YAML file while they are typing, we want to hide that token as well. I think this might still be needed, but I feel like it's lower priority, because most of the time people demonstrate the YAML files that are already created. I think we will depend on the user experience and what people have to say once they start using the extension, because we are going to publish this in the market, and we're going to see what the people say about this. Third, we need to publish to Visual Studio Code Market. Yep, this is of course the most important part, one of the most important parts that we need to take care of. And I believe that it takes precedence over the file change. So I think it's going to be even here. Last, add unit tests. This is what we have been doing in the last session. We started writing unit tests, but frankly, the way that we have been writing it is more towards into integration test. I don't mind that. But I think it's very important to keep in mind that this is an integration test, not really a unit test. The struggle that we had in the last bit of the session was that this is the unit test that we have. What we do is in the test suite, Visual Studio Code is already filled for us. This is part of how Visual Studio Code code generation does things. So because we created the extension through YAML, and the whole setup set things in a way that Visual Studio Code is already available for us in the unit test. So in our in our test, we open a text document that we store in our folders. In our case, it's this file, this YAML. We open the text document, we load it in this Visual Studio Code instance, and then we get the editor. We assume that it's open in an editor. And then we get the text from the editor and we parse it. And then we invoke the traverse and change function, passing the parsed YAML, passing the editor, passing the empty range, which is gonna discover and fill in the traverse and change. And then, hey Jamie, you're here, man. It's beautiful that you came. It's awesome. Feel free to throw any messages, feedbacks, or comments in the chat. And this is not just for you, this is for everyone. The way that Twitch works is that it's interactive. The more interactive, the more beautiful it is. So we have the range and the secret keys. The secret keys currently is just an array that we have created. In our code, this secret keys is we bring it from the configuration. So this is the most important part of the extension. This is what we want to test. We don't want to test everything. And then we see if the range is really not 0. If the range has changed. If our traverse and change figured out that there are segments in the YAML file that have the word scalar address, and it colorizes it, or at least it fills the range. Now the problem that we were facing last time is that using this path, I couldn't find this file. And the reason is that the directory name is actually the output. So once we build, it's out. Is it this one? I think it's this one. Anyway, it was in the out file, and this caused a problem because we have to copy the file across to the output, and I didn't really want to do that. What did I end up doing? I think I copied it manually. So if I change the configuration back to debugging, and rather than run extension, change it to extension tests, which is here in launch.json. This is the configuration. Oh, here we go. This is the configuration for this run. The type is extension host. We want to launch it. The execution path of the extension, and we pass the extension development path and the extension test path. Here you go. This is, I think, where we have to play around. And the output files, we need to bring every everything from the output directory under test. This is our playground. I think this is where we are going to spend our time. I don't want to spend our time today in unit tests. To be frank, this is the least interesting part, and we are not creating this extension for critical mission issues, but it's a must, I think. Let's finalize this unit test and then come back to publishing our extension. All right, so if I run this and see, you're going to see that it's running the Visual Studio code that is going to load the file behind the scenes. And let's open the debugging and see. It says, sorry, cannot open the file in this path where it's output test suite detail below, unable to read file. It cannot find the file. If I copy the file over from the test suite to the output directory on this path, so we are saying out test suite here, then everything's going to be fine. So I think what we need to do is probably go to launch the JSON, and here you go. So if source maps are enabled, these glob patterns specify the generated JavaScript files. If a pattern starts with exclamation mark, the files are excluded. If not specified, the generated code is expected in the same directory as the source. Alright, so I think it says that we either need to move the test file and put it somewhere out of the test suite and put it part of the solution, which is I don't want to package my test file with the package, so I want to keep it somewhere here, but I also need to copy it. Does this mean that we can just add the file here, the YAML file? How about we read the documentation about the out files? I know that reading documentation on a live stream is not the best, but we managed to get through a lot by reading documentation. We are developers, we should read documentation. Let's have a quick search and see what it has. I haven't done this, by the way, from the last stream. I need to fix my npm modules. I kept the tab open. I'll do it, I promise you. So VSCode, debug, and output or add files. Let's see what we have. TypeScript debugging with Visual Studio Code. I hope these will help us. How to debug TypeScript files in Visual Studio Code. I'm not sure I want this one. Let's search for output files. Array of glob patterns for locating generated JavaScript files. See section source map. I feel like it's really specific to the generated JavaScript files. I don't think we should be tampering with that. Correct? Is there anything else other than source maps that we can copy over? It says, what's this? Automatically skip files covered by these glob patterns. Skipping uninteresting code. Environment file, runtime arguments, current working directory, launch the program to debug in this directory. protocol. I don't think we will find it like this. By default, Visual Studio Code will search your entire workspace for source maps. But in very large workspaces, this search might be slow. You can configure the locations where Visual Studio Code will search for source maps by setting the out files attribute. Yeah, see? It's not this. So we need, or how about we search how to copy files over. So if we say run extension, I think this is the same thing for source map. I want to copy. How about we just put it there? I'm just curious. Should we? What's going to be the wrong thing to do? How about we search? Oh, let's find this one. This is source map support. We don't want source map support. VS Code extension build copy files to out. How about this one? Enable copying files to from remote workspaces. How to copy the code extension to another machine. No. Or Visual Studio node this build copy files to out. The last thing I'm gonna search is unit tests. Copying files for unit tests. Copying files by the script fields in the package.json. Is it something that we can do this for? Steps to produce. Use YAML generator to build a simple Visual Code extension. Yeah, this is our case. The extension runs great. Launches from debug. Yeah, I tried to add source files to the source directory, but it never gets copied to the output directory. I think they are gonna tell him just use the what? Use the same attribute that we came across. Yeah. Given your reply, do you expect this should do what I was hoping? Will the copy script won't run as part of the watcher since it's running before the watch command? I expect if you import the file JS files into your TS files, then it would work. Copy. Should we do this? Copy source. Should we do this? Package.json. I also don't think that we should name display region categories main contributes commands hide my secrets properties. This is not it. Scripts. Visual Studio Code will depend on pre-publish npm run compile. The compile will run the TypeScript compiler. The lint. The watch will watch. Pre-test npm run compile and pm run lint. And then finally test node and we execute the result of the test. So I think one of these should be, maybe here we should copy the file. Should we do that? If we do scripts, let me think. Let me think, my friends. What do you think? What do you guys think? We are building this together, so I'm very open. And there's no problem in suggesting whatever idea. My ideas won't be better than yours. It's obvious here that we can run npm run compile and npm run lint. I wonder how we make sure that this is run in the right order. Is it like by this, pre-publish? Let's add something like this. Copy just like that. Yeah. Copy from source test suite test YAML to out test suite, correct? Because, sorry, in here it said it's looking for it in the suite as well. Yeah. So out test. It's sweet of me that I'm trying to put a W in it. All right. I don't know if this is gonna work, but we can try it out. I don't know if this is also the best way of doing it. Let's go back to debugging, run the extension test, run, and see if everything goes fine. Tomorrow is Friday, that's a good thing. It seems that it did not work. Cannot open the file. Why? Maybe it's not being called at all in the launch.json. Pre-launch task, default build task. What is the default build task? So here, name, extension host, request, execution path, with this and extension test path, which is the output. We need to figure out why it's not copying it. How about we add something like this? I don't know if this is really, I don't know if this makes sense. The suite. How about we copy the same and say also YAML. Alright, if this doesn't work, then we will undo that copy command. Yeah, unable to read file, it cannot find it. There must be a way to copy the files. And because it's not JavaScript, it's not source map. This was a silly trial from my part, but you know, when you're drowning, you try to hold on to everything. So pretest, it seems that it's not running. How can we let's read a little bit more about this one. I've got what seems like it should be a simple thing to do. I want to add JavaScript source to the things like says compile the rest of the VSCode extension project is human. The two files will create the extension. My custom JavaScript is custom one. I use debug launch extension to test my extension. The launch extension again, but it has pre-launch task. npm, which I assume runs my package.json and should compile the TypeScript files. But for some reason, this doesn't work. My file isn't copied. I think we are in the same way. You say you add the customer, you mean this in the copied distribution. If this was just a typo, then filing the issue, I'm curious why you are using JavaScript here instead of a TypeScript file. I think what I'm missing here is between package.json and launch.json. Let's find this pre-launch task. This is the only thing here. What's the default build task? VSCode extension. Did I search for this? Yeah. Default build task. Okay, this is more concrete. Run menu. Program request name. If you go back to the Files Explorer, you'll see the launch.json. That's alright, Jimmy. Thank you for spending the time with us. Feel free to come back. You never know how much we would have accomplished. So, bon appetit. Note that the attributes available in launch configuration vary from debugger to debugger. Do not assume that an attribute that is available for debugger automatically works for other debuggers too. If you see green squiggles in your launch configuration, however, over them to learn what the problem is. Try to fix before launching the debug session. I don't think all of this. We need more concrete documentation. Visual Studio Code supports compound launch configuration. Please read this section. Alternatively, you can run your configuration through the command palette. Debug actions. Run mode. In addition to debugging a program, VSCode supports running debug run. Start without debugging action by Shift F5 and uses the currently selected launch configuration. Breakpoints, log points, data inspection, launch attributes. I think this is important. There are many launch JSON attributes to help support different debuggers debugging. As mentioned above, you can use IntelliSense once you have specified the type of the debugger, request type of launch configuration. Currently launch and attach. We want to launch presentation. Pre-launch task. To launch a task before the start of a debug session, set this attribute to the name of a task specified in tasks.json. Oh. Do we have tasks.json? We have indeed. Default to use or this can be set to default to launch a task before the start of a debug session. Set this attribute to the name of the task specified in tasks, or this can be set to default build task to use your default build task. What is my default build task? Build. I think. Ah, here you go. But this is the group kind build. Okay. All of this is not what we need. Many debuggers support some of the following attributes: program, arguments, environment, current work directory for finding dependencies and other files, port when attaching to a running process, and then variable substitutions, platform specific properties. There's a global JSON configuration, advanced breakpoints. No. Remote debugging. I can't believe I'm stuck in such a simple task. VSCode extension copy files unit test. I think we used this one before. Run VSCode extension unit test. Copy unit test framework explorer. I don't think so. Testing extensions. What should we do? End-to-end testing. I think this is what we're doing. So in this case, it says directory name, test folder location, and then normal params.js. And this works fine. So normal params, I wonder where this is for it. Let's open this one. So how normal unit test E to E examples. I don't think we want examples. I want to see where this normal params is. Normal params is in examples, which is in the interesting. That's good. That's cool. That's cool. So this is I see. So test for the location. I see. I see. So there's a small cheating that it does not copy over the file. It just uses the file directly. So in our case, it wants us to, because this is extension test, it wants us to go 1 level, 2 levels up, 3 levels up. Now we are in source level, source, test, examples, and our file. And once we have that path, we can load the file. All right. I think we can do that, even though that it does not sound too nice. Let's see. Wait a second. It assumes, what does it assume? Let's open the launch.json and see what's the launch.json look like. VSCode, launch.json. In the extension tests, the type, the launch, runtime, executable, execution path, the arguments, they are adding to disable the other extensions. I think this is a wise thing to do. And then the output files, the out files for the source map is this. All right. So there's nothing extra. So if I try to do this, if I go back to here and say let's debug here and see what's, oh no, we don't have to. Let's just debug and see what directory name is. I think we are getting closer, my friends. So, oops, what happened? Step out. Is this step out? This step out. Step out. Step out. Step out. Out, 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 out. How about we go here, we put the breakpoint here, and we say F5. Oh, it's not happy. Let's run it again. Now it's trying to think. Ah, yeah, I see what happened. I think it crashed before. Silly me. So let's do this again. We are on the right breakpoint, I think, now. Are we? Still loading? Here you go. Directory name is the whole thing. We are in the out directory. I think that example is really hacky, because it's assuming that it's in the output, in the out directory, and it's having three characters out, 3 levels out, 1, 2, 3 here. Oops. Here, 1, 2, 3. It knows that it's an output directory. I disagree with this approach. It's not really nice. Correct? So if we find this here, oops, find, copy, find, paste. Yeah. So they know that they are in the output file directory. This is, I don't know. What do you think, people? I feel like this is wrong. I'm just gonna do it for now. So var or let test suite path equal. Ew, while I'm writing this, oh, this is wrong. Source test, where do we have it? Source test suite, and then we say test suite path, like this. Let's now run our unit test again. I keep saying unit test. Let's run our test again and see if it's gonna crash or work. Here, let's open our debugging, our unit test. We have a debugger. We have to remove this one. Complete, please. Uh-oh. It's still complaining. It says cannot open file outsource test. Why is it insisting on out? Wait a second. How is this even working? Directory name, which is the out, and then this. Could it be this? 1, 2, 3, and dash. Could it be this one? Alright. Let's try again. I hate playing with paths. Is it gonna work? What do you think? It worked! It worked and the test is passing. It worked and the test is passing. I totally disagree with this kind person. Thank you anyway for showing us the way, but it's not right. I believe that we should copy the test file into the output directory and run it from there. What do you think, people on the chat? I'd love to hear from you. And I feel it's wrong. Does anyone say anything about this one? Launch test configuration with arguments, passing arguments to extension development, excluding test files from your extension package. I think we will need this at some point. If you decide to share your extension, of course we want. You may not want to include the test in your extension package. I think we already have this one. So if I open .VSCode ignore, we have our out test. Lovely. So there's no problem here, but oh. Thank you for expressing my feelings for me, Jamie. Yes, I think it's a little bit less maybe than WTF, a little bit less than that level, but yeah, I was like, I'm feeling you shouldn't be from where you're executing trying to reach from the out directory. You should be enclosed in the output directory. If you want something, you make sure that the scripts are passing that thing to you in your environment and you execute within your output directory. But crawling away out from the output directory and reaching some directories out there, you never know if that file is there anyway. I don't know. But at least the unit test is running and it's executing nice. I don't know if I'm gonna keep this one. I think it's gonna get us through the night of running this test, so we can focus on delivering something, packaging our package. Awesome, lovely. We are on the same page, Jimmy. Awesome. Right, so I haven't figured out yet how to copy the files inside. If anyone have an idea, I'll be very grateful. Otherwise, let's just make sure that this unit test runs, because look at the test that we have here. We are just making sure that the ranges are full. But because we know the file, we know that we are trying to hide which part? We are trying to hide, what are we trying to hide? According to the test, scalar address. So scalar address, this should be hidden. So we need to figure out the range and see if really there should be one range. Actually, rather than assert not equal, it should be equal. So let's make this assert equal and assert dot equal that range dot length is actually 1. Now, if we want to even do better, we want to say that the range that we are covering is this one and this one. How can we express this in ranges? Now, let me think. Let's see our code. Extension TS. Hide the windows, as many windows as possible to see the code. I love shortcuts, so this is Command D to hide and show the sidebar. Shift and Command for Y to show the debugging console. Each one of these, of course, have one, so I think this is Shift Command U, and the problems Shift Command M, and the terminal is Control tilde. I love shortcuts, so I think if you get the hang of this, you can enjoy your coding experience much more. Right, so I was trying to see the range, because I have very bad memory. We only work on this one once a week for a couple of hours, so I forget. Ranges, how do we fill ranges? By pushing a range from here. So we figure out based on the position from the YAML file, because I think the YAML file, the YAML parser, this one, let me show you. We first use the parser. Where do you use the parser? Where's my parser? Here you go. First, we load the text into the parser and we get a parsed YAML file. The parsed YAML file is a list of or a tree of nodes. Each node has a start position and end position. The start position and the end position is based on the characters. So you can just imagine that you're reading the file line by line. So if you reach a new line character at, let's say, column 10, the new line, the first character in the new line is going to be 11. So 11, 12, 13, 14. So there's no concept of lines in the YAML parser. It's just like a bunch of characters from 0 to the last character. Visual Studio Code does not understand this. Visual Studio Code understands ranges, and a range is actually a line and a position in the line. I think this is what we were playing with last time. There's a constructor that takes a position and an in position, but then there's also a number, and then the start character of that number, and the end character of that number. So if we go back, Control minus, we can create a range ourselves, knowing the positions of that file, and then compare the range, or not, or we I think it is. I think this is it. So in our extension commands p extension test, here we need to create a range, but we need to get the token path of this one. We can cheat. Let's put a breakpoint here and run our unit test. Debug. Once we have the file parsed, we will do what? We have the parsed file. Let's open man, there's no distraction. This is all about the experience that we are having together. Jamie says, not to distract, but I love shortcuts too. Have you thought about setting up an overlay to show the shortcuts? I did. Check this out. What is it called? I actually installed it even. I installed it, but let me find. It's called cap, yes. Cap key Mac OS. This fellow here. Oh, why are we here? Where's the main? Oh, is it this one? Cap. Where's the original? Read more. Is this the original path for this one? But anyway. Oh no, not cap. Keycaster, sorry. My bad. Keycaster. keycaster macOS. Why I can't find? Ah, here you go. This is the repo. This application, if you install it on your Mac, then it will spit whatever you type is going to spit these things for you, and everybody can see your shortcuts. But to be frank, I'm a little bit nervous because I didn't know what it's doing and I didn't get the chance to analyze. I'm afraid, like, if for security reasons, it might be capturing my keystrokes and send it somewhere. It's just the nervous part of me. What's this? Nervous is not word. That's not the word. Too skeptical. I can't remember. Yeah. Paranoid. The paranoid part of me. There's also I maybe we can do this. There's also a screencast mode, but the screencast mode, I think it annoyed me in the last session. I'll show you why. I think if I keep ... No, not this one. Backspace. Let's keep this one. Let's keep it here and see how it goes. Yes, paranoid is the word. Paranoid. Thank you so much. Yeah. So if we look at the range, sorry, not range. Jimmy said you need a plugin for the shortcut display to hide characters. Yeah. Let's build this in the next project, I guess. Right. So in the past, if we expand this filler, why is showing more here? And you can see that there's a red circle around my mouse pointer. This is nice. Parsed. Why I can't see the rest? Parsed. This is weird. My debugger on the right side on the variables, on the left side in the locals, is not showing the tree. So in the mappings, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's going to be in the fourth one then. Can I pin this or add this to watch maybe? Go, show, rename, change format, react to source, open, cut, copy. Huh? There's nothing? Watch. Parsed. Mappings number 4. And then we also have, in 4 we have 1, 2, 3, 4. I think in the value, in the mappings, number 4, and then we have, I think it's the first one, value, items 0. Is it? And then mappings. This is why everybody's not happy with YAML. I think this one, not the keys but the value. Mappings, we have 4. Do we have 1, 2, 3, 4? Yes, it's the first one. This is way long value. What's the value of this one? Raw value, kaboom, default. Here you go. We got it. So this is the node we are looking at. look at now the position. This is the whole node. We need just the value. So the value, the in position is, let's write this somewhere, 269, and the start position is 252. Is this enough for us to, now we can stop, and then we can create a range here. We can create a range. So let my range, very bad naming, very bad naming. How do we define a range? Extension, go back to new VSCode range, and we say VSCode range, I think the start position and the end position. Yeah, we can hard code this because we are brave. 252 is it? And 269. Now that we have a range, oh, why is it upset? It's not the sign of start position. Ah. So how did we create that one? It's this one, like this. Editor, and then a position, and then another editor at position. Do you think it's gonna work? Hide this one. Why it's not happy now? No overload matches this code. Overload one of two, start position and end position. Range gave the following error. Argument of type range is not assignable to parameter of type position. Okay. Oh, sorry. Where did this come from? I think we copied the whole thing. There you go. There you go. Now that we have a range, our range should match this range. So we should say assert.equal the expected, is this the expected? The actual range dot line, is it? What properties do we have? Length, push, reduce, slice, to string, include, find, every entries. Huh? This is weird. How about we find something else? If there is equal, does it do a deep equal? Fail, if error, match. What's match? Regular expression. Ugh. Not deep equal. What is not deep equal? Not deep strict equal. I think it's worth checking out these. Not deep equal. Not deep equal. There's no documentation in the code. Just say assert dot not deep equal type script. is there anything that we can find? Wow. Why isn't there any results for this? I know you think I'm stupid because I changed all the... Not stupid. Jimmy says, sorry, I'm still catching up, but could the unit test be asserting against the whole contents of the file? Could the unit test be asserting against the whole contents of the file? When you say asserting against the whole contents of the file, are you referring to, because we here we are loading the so like the input has the secret. So the input has the secret. Then the output does not have the secret. Let me think. Input has the secret, and the output. I think it's like this. So if let's save this for a minute and go. We stopped debugging. Yeah. We didn't change anything here. Okay. Let's change the debugging to run extension. Now, in our extension, what happens is that let's open the extension. Once it's activated, we have a configuration of keys that we have saved before. I'm going to show you how. That these keys in the YAML file, the value of these keys are secrets. We are considering secrets. So this configuration we put ourselves. We created this configuration. Things like the word secret, and then the word password, or the word token. We have a list of these. And then once, for example, in our case here, we put the word app as a secret. Once the YAML file is loaded, we parse the YAML file and we look for all the nodes that have the key as app, or part of this configuration, app in our case. Then we say, okay, fair enough, we got this one. Then the parser will tell us, all right, the position of the value of these keys is from here to here. We find all of them, and each one of them is a range. So this is a range, and then we have another range, and then we have another range, and then we have another range. So in our case, we have 4 ranges in our parsed file. Once we get the ranges, and we run this in a traverse mode. So we go like recursion, we go through the nodes, do we have this key, do we have this key, do we have this key, until we get all these ranges. After we get all of these ranges, this is how we're pushing them here. The way Visual Studio code works to change anything in the text file of colorizing and changing the text or whatever, beyond being the theme or the language theme, you have to do this with the decoration. So you say editor set decoration. The decoration type that we have defined, that's the red decoration, and then we apply this decoration type to the ranges. So it's like tick, 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 make them red, 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 red. So in our test file, not this one, in our test file, we are just interested in testing the traversing. This is the most interesting part and the most critical part in our extension, which is if we go here, we are traversing over the nodes. We are figuring out if this is a type that has properties within or not. Oh no, don't apologize. It's awesome, man. We are enjoying this. Yeah, no, sorry. Thank you, actually. And then we figure out the type of the node, and then we apply we go traverse even deeper and deeper and deeper until we find it. So this is where we check on the keys. Awesome to hear that. Awesome. So happy. Now that in our case we just want to test this function. This is normally we retrieve from the configuration we built in the last session or the session before, and we supply it to our function, and we also send the empty ranges that our function will fill up to decorate them. And then this is where we are going to do the assertion. So we are going to say, all right, we know that in our file that this is the position, or this is the range that should be colorized, should be decorated. If the length is equal 1, then we are good. The next step is to make sure that this range that we know of, that we hard-coded, we know we have a secret in that range, is equal really to the range that was found in our method and added to the empty list. So we should say, in this case, I'm not sure what not deep equal or deep equal. So I'm looking for something like equal first. Strict equal. So not strict equal, reduction. I think we are in the strict throws. Here we go. Starting from the beginning. Apply arguments, bind, call. No. Deep equal. Maybe you can try deep equal for range 0. It should be ranges really, not range. And between my range. Shall we do this? Let's stop the debugging. Go back and change to extensions test. And then save this guy. And then run. Let's see what we get. Alright, so we have a range, empty range. Now if 10, we get a result. Let's see, just curious before we allow it. We have one element, nice. And the start position, it's line 12, character 38. In our case, it's line 12, character 38. So I think it's gonna work, but because it's deep equal, I'm not sure. Oops. Oh, Oh, it's not working. Timeout? Is it timeout? Oh, okay. Let's run it without breakpoint. Run it again. Let's see if this is going to work. Oh, it's passing. Wonderful. Wonderful. Now, the paranoid person I am, the first thing that we are going to do is to this is awesome. The first thing I'm going to do is to go to the terminal and go to hide my secrets. Oh, yes, we're on desktop. Go to source, hide my secrets, and see what we have done here. We have touched settings to JSON. Ah, yeah, because I changed. Let's see what we did. Diff tool, I think we can go diff or diff tool. I have configured to use beyond compare. I like beyond compare. I paid for it once and I keep using it. This is the settings. I changed the borders for some reason. Okay. I think of course this is so wrong to have the the color customization in Visual Studio Code folder, because now if you clone my repo and you open this Visual Studio this project, you'll have this sick scheme, color scheme, like lime green, grass green, whatever, which is not nice. Anyway, but it's we should remove it sometime. Okay, close this one, open the next. This is the to-do that we have done before. I think we can remove this one or keep it and say, just don't do the out file. It's not nice. And publish code to market. What did we do as well? Oh yeah, we should discard this. I don't want to keep this one. I'm going to discard it. And then what did we do as well? Yes, this is, I think it's very, I'm shocked that we didn't commit this last time. We didn't commit the unit test. We changed the function so that it's exported, so the unit test can see it because it's out of the module. And then the unit test itself. I can live with that. All right. So let's add our to-do. Oh, sorry. Let's add our source extension. Let's add our source test suite extension test. Let's add the YAML file. And I know I'm a monster, sorry. I'm going to show you why it's lime green, by the way. I'm going to add the YAML file itself. I haven't been adding it. Add. Alright. What did we add and what didn't we add? We are going to add the source extension. What's left? The Visual Studio Code extension and the package.json. Yeah, we said we're not going to do this. So I will check out the package.json. git checkout package.json. There you go. And let's keep the Visual Code View code settings for now. All right. Now, why you ask? Why lime green? I'm a monster. Well, there's an extension that is created, I think, by John Papa, if I'm not mistaken, that if you have many projects running at the same time, or not running at the same time, like you have opened a project in the Visual Studio Code, and then you have opened another Visual Studio Code, and you have opened another Visual Studio Code, many projects, you want to play around. Then you want to differentiate between them because you can't see. Peacock! There you go, Jimmy. Yes, so Peacock surprises me every time. So I think a broad color can do. Jimmy says, I'm very much enjoying watching someone else use Git command line to add and commit. I thought I was the only one. Ah, man. It's really, there is space for Git GUI, but for me, it's not these commands. Once you want to, for example, I use the command line for most of the actions, but I want to see the tree. I git k. Git k is this is a very old tool, but I haven't seen any Git UI that matches git k. Every time I run it, if you check the command, you can see that this is going to be deprecated. I think it's where is it? The system version of TK is deprecated and may be removed in the future release. It's just beautiful. You can see the tree. You can click on the different commits and see all the details. And also, if you, for example, if you have a lot of branches, you can pass git k and the name of the branch, and it will only show you. I closed this one. It will only show you that tree branch. I love it. Everything else, I think, the command line, using the command line is, for me at least, is easier, more streamlined, and it's closer to the tool rather than having some sort of abstraction that you may trust or may not trust. Yeah. All right. So now that we have added everything, git commit add first unit test. It's going to be probably the last. Add first unit. To test range decoration or identification. To test range identification. That's better. Oh, nice. Jimmy says that's right. I use GUIs for diff, etc., but don't have a solution for navigating commits and branches like that. Nice. Yeah. Git k is amazing. The only problem I find with Git k is it's not a problem with Git k itself. It's a hard problem with Git in general. When you have a merge and you want to see the differentiation, the differences between. So, for example, let me show you. I don't have a branch. I'll open a repo at some point that has branches and merges. If you are on the merge commit, there's nothing, like there's void, because it cannot compare. Like, what do you want me to compare with? With which parent? I'm a merge, which is perfect sense, but it's not like, sometimes you want something very simple, like I just compare it with this one, compare that one. Git-k does not have it. Yeah. All right, so I can git push now. And you, my dear people in the chat and watching this, you can what? You can have the repo itself in your hands and the unit test that we have created. I think we might stop here. It's I usually stream for 2 hours. Can we continue for another half an hour? Let's check our to-do. First of all, I don't want to add unit test. I want to what did we want to say? Make it not ugly. Copy test YAML file to out and use the right path. This is one thing. Also, publish code to market. I think this is very nice. I totally agree, Jimmy. I totally agree. End on a high, I think they say. Alright, I think publish to market is our next step. So if you come next week, same day, same time, Thursday at 8 p.m. Melbourne time, we probably can or we'll try to publish our code extension to the market. So this is going to be nice. I'd love also in the README file to put all the people who have been contributing on the chat. This is going to be awesome because this is the work of all of us. And then we'll ping all the other streamers, presenters who use YAML files often, tell them, try it out. So, and then we can go and look at making the decoration themable or executing when it changes or things like this. So I think we can do this after we publish the code because people might have different opinions. And MVP should release fast. Alright, I think this is it. Thank you everyone for joining the stream. Jimmy, thank you specifically for joining and being awesome with our chat. I really enjoyed this one. And up until next time, I think we can say good night or good morning, depends on where you are.